Good morning. We begin today with a significant development regarding the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The United States Pentagon is seeking an additional $200 billion from Congress to fund the war against Iran. This comes as the conflict, now nearly 3 weeks old, is reportedly costing the United States $1 billion per day. Since the U.S. Army began its campaign against Iran almost 3 weeks ago, it was widely anticipated in Washington that the Pentagon would eventually request more funds from Congress. However, few predicted the scale of this request. An unprecedented $200 billion, which translates to approximately 173 billion euros. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who has effectively been elevated to the role of War Secretary by the United States government, did not dispute the figure reported by several media outlets. Secretary Hegseth stated, and I quote, "This number could, of course, still change. It costs money to fight the bad guys. That is why we are turning to Congress to ensure that we are adequately funded for what has already been done and for what we may have to do in the future. We must ensure that our ammunition supplies are replenished, and not just replenished, but that they exceed the required level." This highlights the administration's commitment to sustained military action and readiness. Estimates indicate that just 1 day of war against Iran costs the United States military $1 billion. To put the $200 billion request into perspective, the Pentagon's regular budget for the current fiscal year stands at around $870 billion. Furthermore, this additional funding request is roughly double what Germany spent on defense last year according to NATO definitions, including its Special Armed Forces budget. President Donald Trump, in dismissing concerns about the hefty price tag, called it a small price. President Trump remarked, "We are asking for this for several reasons that go beyond Iran. This is a very volatile world. The military equipment, the destructive power of some of these weapons is unimaginable. It is a small price to pay to keep everything perfect." This statement aligns with earlier reports from March 6, 2026, when President Trump explicitly ruled out an agreement with Iran to end the war. Just yesterday, on March 19, 2026, President Trump threatened an attack on a vital gas field in Iran following Iranian attacks on liquid natural gas facilities in Qatar. The demand from the Pentagon has provoked a strong reaction, especially from Democratic politicians. Many were quick to calculate what else the $200 billion could pay for: universal health insurance, preschool education in all federal states, or free school meals. Independent Senator Angus King, who caucuses with the Democratic Senate faction, criticized the administration during an interview on CNN, saying, and I quote, "It's a bit brazen that they want to turn to Congress for money, but they didn't turn to Congress when it came to authorization for the war." There's a bit of irony in that. Even within the Republican Party, there's a visible split. Senator Thomas Lankford responded cautiously, stating, "It will come down to the details here. Congress should never issue a blank check to an administration. We should look at the details and try to find out what they want to achieve." He added that he would approach the matter impartially. However, Representative Lauren Boebert, a prominent figure in the MAGA wing of the Republicans, announced a clear no. She expressed her frustration with spending money abroad instead of in the United States. This division signals a potentially tough political battle ahead for the Trump administration, especially since polls suggest that most Americans oppose the war. The Pentagon's request now awaits official submission to Congress, likely by the end of the month, where it will face intense scrutiny and a challenging approval process. The future of this war and its financial implications remain a hotly debated topic in Washington. What's your take on Pentagon demands $200 billion for Iran war? Trump, small price? Share your view in the comments. Do you think this will matter in the next news cycle? This video was generated using artificial intelligence.